a Jamaican-based Manchester United fan channel. Now we're trying to grow our community, guys, and I need whoever will join this live to just like, share, subscribe, and get the algorithm going. Now, this big question right here, ladies and gents, that I want you as well as myself to answer is, should we back Ten Hag? And I know a lot of people out there, they do not, and I mean, they do not want to back Ten Hag for varying reasons. But for me, I think we should stand behind the manager and try and do a proper rebuild. Right? Because, a lot of you believe that, him forget sack because no results, right? Nothing now go on. Just sack him and done. Getting Deserby. Getting Nigelsmann. Getting this manager. Getting that manager. Just do it right now. But I mean, to be honest, I think that we're being unfair. Right? People are gonna say, alright, look at the injury crisis we're having now. If it was Klopp would put in a young academy player and he will just look like he has been playing professionally for years. But you have to remember, there is a lot of reasons why Klopp can do that at Liverpool. And people gonna say Klopp is just outright a better manager, which yes, he is a better manager. But you have to also remember, Klopp has cemented a philosophy at Liverpool for the past 8 years. So, when you come in as an academy player, instantly you know what is required to be a Liverpool player. Right? And yes, person are going to say, well, Ten Hag should have first done that when he came there. But it takes time to do things like that at a football club. It takes time for the first team themselves to even try and play the philosophy that a manager is playing. Right? And if the first team has not got that done pat yet, how are we going to expect the academy players to just come and just fit in just like that? Right now, as it stands, a philosophy is not implemented because the requisite players are not there. And the players at the academy level are getting in does not really suit what Ten Hag wants as yet, if we're sticking with Ten Hag. So that's why I think if we're going to pose an argument like that, it's still unfair. Because he's not been there enough for things like that to happen. Right? Long enough for things like that to happen. Right? Also, there are varying reasons why Ten Hag's team this season is not playing well. He has dressing room problems. He still had to deal with Sancho and the whole Sancho saga. He has to deal with things like Anthony possibly being, although he's not a good player in my opinion, no disrespect to the player himself, but he had to deal with things like that where players have been accused of sexual assault, etc. and etc. Right? And come on now, persons are gonna say he's the first manager to get his exact signings. But I'm going to counter that and to say to you guys that, look, yes, but a lot of these players are injured that he used last season who played close to what he wants to play moving forward as the Man United manager. And guys, the injuries this season is, for me, very shocking. Over 10 players injured throughout the course of the season. Now, yes, we can make arguments to say, what is it going around with this left back thing where Tyrell Malacia out all season? Luke Shaw, he has been out 3/4 of the season so far, and he looks like to be out for the rest of the season, right? We can say things like that. And why did he send back Regular and now no left back is fit? But I'm saying to you, yes, these are things to cement your argument to say that it was poor decision making by Ten Hag or whoever were signing making such decisions, right? It's poor decision making. Fine. But yet still, there are still other reasons to even validate my point to say that it's unreasonable, right? I just bring up something like the Klopp versus Ten Hag situation where Klopp is there longer, so he had more time to implement how he wants to do things at Liverpool. Now and then, guys, let us not forget the first season to which Ten Hag had. Did anybody expect a new manager to a new league to finish third and to win a trophy and to compete week in and out in the Premier League? Did we expect that? No, for me, I was pleased with his first season. Now, he has faced several trials and tribulations this season, which, set them aback this season. Come on, guys, let us be realistic. To have so many injuries to key players, it will put a nail in the coffin as to how we will play. Having Lisandro Martinez out so long, it affects how we play because he is our only centre back that can really play the ball from the back and to make splitting passes to really help with that transition that we lack currently. He's the only player in our defense, separate and apart from Luke Shaw, that can really make things happen from the back. Right? Persons are going to criticize the owner signing, which I am a big critic of as well. Because he's not a good shot stopper, I don't think he is very versed and very good at that. But quite frankly, he looks much better with the ball at his feet, and that's what he came in for than the hair. But let's see after this season if there will be an improvement next season, right? But it looks better, the build-up. So look at me. Let us picture it this way. If Onana and Lisandro was around there, I think we would look quite good as a transition team moving forward, right? Let us get back to the players now that are injured. Remember, Casemiro was out for quite a long time earlier on in the season, and we can also say that played a pivotal role in how we played throughout those months. And we can now say, well, he's not even playing well now. So what are you talking about, Casemiro and blah, 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 blah. But Casemiro had a tremendous opening season for us last year. So yes, we can say that he's one of our better players. And Rasmus Højlund has been injured when he came. Right? He wasn't scoring, and that was because of varying reasons. And now that he caught form, he's injured. So what is that telling us? Anthony Martial, who was our main quote-unquote striker last year, injured for the majority of the season as well. So again, there are a lot of things that are sabotaging the way we can play, because the players who are better players have been injured. Mason Mount injured, and I think Mason Mount is a talented footballer, and I think that if Mason Mount was fit for the majority of the season and he was able to showcase what he can, I think he would also help us with our transition. Just watch how he played for Chelsea and watch how he played in the Championship. He's a good transition player. He can drive with the ball, right? To me, I think he's a tidier passer than Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno this season, I don't know where's the Bruno of old. Bruno is just doing all sorts of crazy dazzle things, and he's doing it too often, which is kind of costing us at this point in time. I'm saying to you, a lot of things have caused the performances we are seeing. And people, as I close shortly, I think the major problem as to why we are getting such inconsistency and poor performances is the core group of players that have sacked Van Gaal, sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and sacked Jose Mourinho. And why I say this, and we can also say Ralph Rangnick as well, that little few months. These players sacked these 4 managers' names that I just called. And let me tell you why. Yes, persons can say that Ten Hag was the manager of late that got majority of his signings. But look, the core players that were present when the managers prior to Ten Hag was sacked are there. Rashford was there, right? Marshall was there, right? Luke Shaw was there, even though to me Luke Shaw seems to be one of our better players, right? Scott McTominay was there. He survived Jose Mourinho, he survived Oli, and he survived Ralph Rangnick. So I'm saying to you guys, a lot of the players who sacked these managers are still there. So in order for us to really move on and to be a better Manchester United, these players that keep down tooling need to get out of the squad. And yes, I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to play hypocrite, ladies and gents, or whoever is here now, that the problems that we have all been highlighting in the past is not there and doesn't pose a valid argument to sack him. But again, guys, it's a cycle we're repeating. And if we constantly repeat a cycle, there will be no change. And look, and to even validate my point that the players who survive these managers are, to me, the main reason is, let me tell you, if we continue to sack managers, I believe that a lot of these players who have been surviving the managers will still stay there. Because look, the fact that and look at this. You see, most times when managers are sacked, the players who tend to leave the club are the players who came in from the previous manager. Just look at the statistic. A lot of times when the rebuild is begun, the players who have been brought in seems to not last the next manager. But the players who have been there from Van Gaal remain at the club. Just look at it. So, I think it is unfair for us to just let Ten Hag bite the bullet. Trust me, I think it's unfair. Right? So we need to be fair, we need to be patient, and to even put an example of why we should be patient with Ten Hag or patient with this manager. Look at Mikel Arteta. A lot of Arsenal fans was calling for his head few seasons ago. A lot of Arsenal fans was not patient with the process. Because look, Arsenal was in our shoes a few seasons ago, you know, when they sacked not sacked. When what's Wenger, Arsene Wenger retired. Remember, Wenger was one of their best managers over the years. And they went to Unai Emery, they went to various other managers. Well, they only had about 2 or 3 managers, less than us, during that post-Wenger period. And look, they found Mikel Arteta and the owners trusted his process. And look at them now. I think they're one of the most feared teams in the league right now. I think that they just need to find that X factor to win a title. But what? They're stuck with Mikel Arteta. They said, alright, we're going to trust the process. So I think that just take that page out of Arsenal book and stick to this man. Remember when we signed Ten Hag, you know, the Ajax fans were telling us to be patient. And guys, Rome is not built in a day. This is the thing with Manchester United fans across the world. It's not just in England or in Europe. It's across the world, even here in Jamaica. We just expect that everything should fix right now. Because what? We're used to the Fergie days. We're used to the success. We're used to the glamour and the glitter and the gold. But guys, we need to now accept the situation we're in as Manchester United fans. We're gone to the dogs. Trust me. We're gone to the dogs. And because of that, just making a split decision without thinking properly won't solve our problems. I'm telling you, it won't. And guys, this decision that a very wide majority of Manchester United fans want the now owners Ineos to take, it is something that is repeating from the past. It is not working. Sacking and reappointing is not working. You cannot give somebody, especially in football, 2 seasons to just prove himself. Because look, we have between last season and now, we're having 2 drastic different seasons. We had a season where a new manager came, so you know that everybody's going to want to prove themselves now because everybody wants to play, quote unquote, right? Everybody wants to play. Everybody is now trying to play and to keep their spot in the team. And new players coming in, so they want to play, they want to prove themselves, and so on and so on. So after that period that honeymoon period, as we would call it, is finished, they're back to their old, poor, rude habits. Right? They feel like they can get a one-up over the manager. You know, they're going back to all of the bad stuff. That is what is happening this season. Along with more problems like the injuries. So that is why, to me, I would say that it is unfair for us as the fans to blatantly want to sack him. Yes, your arguments are valid. Yes, it makes sense. 100% it does. But it is unfair for us as the fans to just, after 1 season, to want to sack him this season. No, guys, that is unreasonable. And I don't think that Ten Hag is not trying. We're all behaving like the man is not trying. He's trying. A lot of these players are not good enough. Even some that he signed. And it's the reality. And that's why now, alright, this is the next thing. Remember, one of our major problems why we had no success on the pitch was that the governing body above the manager made very poor decisions. So this is why now I want to see a manager with a new regime above him. I want to see him given time to work with this new regime, to see if it can also to prove that, well, the manager in the beginning wasn't the problem. This was the problem. The players, yes, is one of the problem, but I want to see now a new regime above our manager to see that if actually the running of the club was also a big problem and not the manager, right? I want to see these things happening first. Yes, you can say, all right, do it with a new manager. Do it with a new manager. But I believe after a season like last season, he deserves the opportunity to get this full season and then to finish his contract with next season to see if that, look, it was truly the injuries and various things that occurred this season that caused the performances we saw. Right? So guys, just bear these things in mind. Right? Remember that if a lot of your key players are injured, you cannot expect the team to play a certain way if most of the key players are out. Come on, guys. Let's not be unrealistic, because I think that is the major thing with Manchester United fans nowadays. And guys, and let me tell you, this unrealistic thing you keep hearing me speaking about right now, we also need to be realistic that we're crap now. We're not a good team that we once were 2013 and before. We're not that team anymore. And a lot of Man United fans are not realizing how real that is now. We're not that good anymore, so you can't be expecting us to go toe-to-toe with our Liverpool and our Man City and those clubs right now, and Chelsea. Hold on. When I say Chelsea, no, I'm not saying Chelsea right now, but Chelsea, prior to the last 3 seasons, were a better team than us, in my opinion. But I'm just saying, we're not accepting even that reality as well. We're not that team anymore. Don't expect us to go toe-to-toe with those teams who have been properly run in recent times. Because the reality is we're not good anymore. So, What we need to do to get back to that level or better is to put somebody in place, which I think Ten Hag has that potential, because look how we play. Guys, look at the performances Ajax did in the Champions League under Ten Hag. And in the Champions League, he slayed a lot of big guns. So I see there the potential and the play style that he can implement once the tools are in place. So give him the proper tools before we decide to just sack him. Give him the tools. The tools weren't 100% given. And when I say tools, I'm not specifying signings. Because, yes, he got a lot of his signings, but a lot of the players are still not Ten Hag players. So give him the time, give him the resources, see what he does with proper time and proper resources. And let's see if it will be better. Because even if all these managers I see Man United being linked with, I don't think are better than him. De Zerbi, who a lot of people are talking about, who is better than Ten Hag. He started out well at Brighton, but right now, Brighton is a very inconsistent team, playing style-wise and results-wise. And obviously, if the playing style is inconsistent, results will be inconsistent. Another manager I heard being linked, Nagelsmann. Bayern Munich sacked him after like a season. And to be honest, he's not really changing the stakes for the German squad right now. Japan is still beating them. A lot of countries in Europe are still beating them. So I don't think, yes, Nagelsmann a few years ago, I would want to see what he would do at Manchester United. But now that he went to a big club and now that he's gotten more exposure, I don't think he is the man to take over from Ten Hag. Xabi Alonso, a lot of people say, I would take him. Xabi Alonso is a former Liverpool player, so don't even think we're going to get him. And I think as well, he needs more time to really prove that his Bayer Leverkusen thing is legit. Then we hear Zidane. Zidane doesn't even know to speak English. That's a big problem. So don't even think about Zidane. So there's not much options really to say that we have a proper replacement for Ten Hag. So bearing that in mind, I don't think it's a wise decision to sack him also. Unless Man United, who has been constantly complaining that we're broke, we're going to sack Ten Hag, which is going to cost us a lot of millions, and then to appoint a manager, which is going to cost us more millions. And then FFP is down our throat. So I'm just saying to you guys, a lot of factors also accredits this argument that we're being unfair to Ten Hag. Yes, and a lot of arguments as though counters the unfair opinions and wants towards our manager being sacked. Come on, guys. Give the man time. Give him time. Stop fueling the media, the British media. You're hearing the Gary Nevilles. You're hearing a lot of people saying that, oh, he's out of his depth. He's this, he's that. Yeah, they're going to say that. But remember, from day one, the British media didn't even want Ten Hag to manage Man United. They wanted, what's his name? Pochettino to manage the team. And look, Pochettino is having a topsy-turvy time right now at Chelsea. So I don't even think he would have been a better replacement or a better appointment rather. Guys, let's be fair. Give Ten Hag time. Give him time with a new regime and let's see what he can produce. If he's still having these performances, guys, sack him. And also, before I close off, remember guys, a major issue we had also is the poor attitudes of the players. So it's not only the fact that the players weren't good enough and those players have been surviving sackings after sackings of managers. They have poor attitudes as well, and Ten Hag had to deal with these things as well. Says it is not just smooth sailing where the players are just listening 100% to him, etc., etc. And even to talk about media, which I started talking about, which I said about the British media didn't want Ten Hag. Even if we're going to talk about media, which top club in the world you know constantly there are leaks in dressing room, leaks to media outlets, leaks that Ten Hag is this, leaks that them running too much in training. Where have you constantly heard that week in, week out, that something is not going well? Let's talk about these things, people. Come on now, let's be fair. It's not fair. So I want you guys to sit down and really think about these things. He has more to deal with than any average manager who manages big clubs. Patience is a virtue, guys. Let us wait. In the middle of the second season, after having a good first season, you want the man to be sacked? Come on, do better than that, Man United fans. If we want to get back to glory, give the man more time. And that's all I'm going to say. Give him more time. Patience is a virtue. That is me for the night. Thank you for my one viewer who came on the live. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. More shorts, more content coming soon. Right? Let's do this, guys.